Welcome to Toffee TV. It is the Footy Show daily. We're live here on Patreon. If you've got any comments, thoughts, questions, opinions, get them in. Let us know your thoughts. If you're not watching live, then why aren't you watching live? Well, might be because you're just in work. A lot of people are going back to work. But if you want to join us live, or have the option of being live, then join us over on Patreon. The link is in the description. So, yesterday we were in here and League 1 and League 2 formally decided that their seasons were finished. The teams at the top were promoted and teams at the bottom were relegated, and there's going to be a playoff system. They are using their points per game. Very controversial system, but certainly locally it has meant that Tranmere Rovers have been relegated by 0.04, which just seems really, really harsh when you think that they've won the last 3 games and they've got a game in hand going into those last few games.
Yeah, makes no sense, does it? Almost. I mean, I understand why they've done it, but if you've got a game in hand and you're on a winning run of 3 games on the run, and I know that was before we've stopped, but even so, you would like to think that momentum is with you and you've got that opportunity to turn it round and to go from thinking, those players will be thinking with 9-10 games to go, we can get out of this, we're on a good run now, know what we're doing, got that game in hand, that'll elevate us to here, and it's been taken away from them, and they're gone, they're relegated, and that's harsh. It's very, very harsh.
You know, the League 2, they're obviously going to have playoffs to decide who goes up. Do you think that we spoke about this a couple of months? Might be a couple of months. I'm not so sure. Not sure how long it was. No. Do you think that maybe they should have looked at a way of having a playoff system that involved the teams at the bottom of League 1, so that it made it a little bit fairer? Because the teams coming up, they're playing to come up, whereas the teams who've gone down, it's been taken out of their hands. And I just feel like it would have been interesting, because obviously we've seen in other countries, you've got the likes of Germany, certainly, they have a playoff. The team who finishes third from bottom plays the team who finishes third from top, and they have a 2-legged playoff to decide who will be in the Bundesliga. Do you think that may be something they should have looked at, a different way of looking at it, just considering the circumstances, and an opportunity? Because we'll come on in a bit to the MLS and what they're doing, but in times like this, why not think out the box a little bit? Why not try and maximise the revenue, maximise the exposure on the leagues, and make it a little bit fairer? Because all I'm seeing from this is a negative impact, negative PR on the leagues, where I genuinely think there could have been a lot fairer system if they'd used their heads.
It's how you go about logistically playing those games, though, isn't it? If we're seeing the Premier League and all the testing and everything it's had to do, the stringent stuff it's had to do to get back to coming within a week of it, and there's the stadiums, Premier League stadiums. We've only just had the Merseyside derby venue, confirmed. Think of the stadiums that are in League 1 and League 2, are they up to standard and this, that and the other. There's a lot of expense going out of it as well. We've got Rick Parry saying that just because we've made some final decisions on things, that doesn't mean clubs aren't still going to be safe. We're still going to lose clubs probably because of the financial implications. And
of course,
I think it's just it's very, very difficult to. You see, this was one of the things about cancelling the whole thing and starting again from back to August would have been that we didn't finish the season, so it's incomplete, and we go back and start again.
Yeah.
Because we didn't finish the season. And that was probably the only way, really, that would have appeased everybody, I think, near enough. Obviously, people who were it would have been harsh on the likes of Liverpool. It would have been very harsh on the likes of Leeds and West Brom and other teams, Coventry City and teams like that. But it would have been a way that there's the reality of it is there's no fair way to probably do it.
No.
And I don't know where financially these teams, I don't think can play in other competitions. Where do you play them? How do you do it? Where does that stop?
No, I know. It just strikes me that...
I mean, Peterborough would have gone up. McCantley say they won 7 out their last 9 games, and have got 7 of the bottom 9 to play in their last 9. So he's there today going, hang on, we'd have definitely got up because I mean, you can never say that.
No.
But he's saying the teams they were playing are all at the bottom of the league, and they're on a run at 7 wins in 9. You're on that roll of winning games, so he's gonna feel aggrieved, isn't he?
I just find it a bit strange. I understand why you can't play the games. Listen, with the testing that needs to go on, it's far too expensive. We spoke about this today about, certainly the women's game, and in Scotland they'd made that decision. It's actually cheaper to curtail it. It just strikes me as strange that, you're still having these playoffs. Like, why not? Why have playoffs then? Why not just say to the team who finished third, or whoever's predicted to finish third with the points per game? Why not just say, well, they're up then? Why have this play? The final's going to be at Wembley. Like, why does it? Like, why not? Why does it need to be at Wembley? Do you know what I mean? It doesn't make any sense, and that's what I'm saying. If you've got to book out Wembley, what's the expense of booking out Wembley for a game?
No, I know.
And I just find that.
I mean, the maddest thing in this is Wickham, who jumped from 8th to 3rd.
Yeah. Not
playing a game, just on the points. It's mad. You got Sunderland who were above them. You've got, like I've just said, Peterborough United. So listen, they've had to come up with something. They've come up with this. It doesn't seem fair.
Yeah.
Really. But what can you do?
I fully understand, they've had to come up with an idea, and this is the idea, and I fully understand that. I just thought that with those playoffs, I just thought there could have been some scope just to widen it a little bit somehow. Listen, you're absolutely right. It's more games, it's more money, it's more grounds. But why not be just, I don't know, why not just try and be a little bit inventive? Why not? I mean, let's just jump to that MLS story while we're talking about it. So the MLS in America is going to come back and have this tournament at Disneyworld.
So they'd only played 2 games when the season stopped. Their season started at the beginning of March. So they played 2 games and it stopped.
So it's going to be like a World Cup, isn't it? Essentially, it's going to be group stages, then knockout stages, then a winner, and the winner's going to get a Champions League spot next year for their region, which sounds really good for like TV watching. It sounds really clever, and it all being at one place, and obviously being Disney World, and I'm sure they'll use the hotels like the NBA are doing, and the wide world of sports facility is brilliant.
Yeah, it's brilliant.
Absolutely brilliant. It was actually like one of my little dreams. I always wanted Everton to go there and play in a little pre-season thing, and basically at the end of the tournament, they will, whatever your wins are, they will translate it to the league, and then the league will start again from August and will continue to the end and go into playoffs. And it's basically a quick way of catching up with what they've missed, rather than saying, right, we need to start from here. There's just not enough time in the calendar over there to do that. And certainly competing with other sports and stuff, it's just, and the NFL, it just can't be done. Now listen, of course, they've got somewhere like Florida where they can go and it can all be held in one place. But I just thought that's really clever. That's just a way of thinking out the box and doing something a little bit different. And obviously there is more money in it than there will be in League One and League Two. But it's just that innovation that I just think that I don't know whether League One and League Two are missing out on here. And not, obviously, listen, as you mentioned, there's money's the number one.
Yeah, but there's 26 teams going down to Florida to play. Well, Orlando City are already there, but 25 others are going down there to play.
Yeah.
But, in League One, there's 24 teams alone. So you're talking League One and League Two, you'd have 48 teams, wouldn't you?
Yeah, but I'm not talking about all the teams. I'm talking about...
Where's the cut-off, though?
Well, 4. Bottom 4. Playoff 4.
Say you're adrift at the bottom.
you've got
chance.
an opportunity. Or if was any team mathematically already relegated?
I don't know. It's the reality.
So
I'd have to look.
But I would say that the bottom four and the playoff four would be the teams, and that to me would just, there'd be a few extra games, keep them one-legged games and book out one stadium and just play them all. Book out one stadium somewhere and just play them all, and do it that way. I just for me that just makes a little bit more sense.
It's just very, very difficult to, I guess, for those clubs, and they haven't been training and bringing them back,
but the other teams are going to come back in the playoffs anyway.
No, I know.
So it doesn't. Yeah, it's just 4 extra. I just think that could have solved a hell of a lot of problems.
Well, it's mad anyway because it's the English Football League, the EFL, but yet the Championship are playing their games. And League One and League Two aren't buffed for the playoffs, so it's all different anyway, isn't it? Whichever kind of way.
Sorry, you lost us for a moment there. The picture went off. I apologise.
It's all different because, like you say, the Championship are playing and League One and League Two aren't playing, so it's all a bit wishy-washy, but I guess it's unprecedented times, and unprecedented times means that mad things happen, basically, don't they?
But that MLS tournament does sound quite interesting.
It sounds good. It sounds really good. I'll certainly be giving it a watch. Like, it'll be interesting to see how well they do, and you know, and I guess it'll throw up some. It could throw up some surprises. Because it's just a tournament.
It'd just be good to watch. It'd just be an interesting tournament to watch over a month, and maybe they think, the way MLS have been thinking is, certainly in America, they have obviously in the college basketball, they have March Madness, which captivates everybody. You know, it's this tournament over a month. People get their brackets and try and fill them out and predict the winner and all that kind of thing. And I think they're just trying to latch onto that. And that'd be quite interesting moving forward to see, because it wouldn't surprise me if MLS thought, hey, we could do like a cup competition at the end of the year or at the beginning or even in the middle of the year to just change it up, just do something a little bit different to get, because listen, certainly for MLS and American viewers, and the way they have sports, it's a lot of games, and because it goes into a playoff system, it's almost like half or even more those half feel like they don't even matter. Though in MLS, whereas in other sports, I know it can feel slightly different. Because those sports are used. But if you're a football fan coming from the outside into MLS, and you see all these games, and it's a bit of a convoluted system, and then it's like, oh, and now we have playoffs. What? So maybe it's almost interesting. It's like, what if they rejigged the league and said, well, we're not having playoffs at the end, but we're going to have this tournament in the middle, and that would almost suit everybody. Like, the winner of the league would be the
playoff system is there because there's no relegation.
No, so I understand that.
It keeps people going. If you're, I look out for Orlando City. So if you're Orlando City and this year you're in 10th.
Oh yeah.
Then with 5, 6, 8 games to go, and you're looking going, we can't get, there's nothing. We're not going to win the league. We didn't win that cup thing. What's the point? Whereas if you're Orlando City with 6 games to go or 4 games to go, you can still get that place in the play. The only thing I don't understand with the playoffs is, and it's something I think they need to do now they've extended the league and more teams are coming in, is extend the places. It's like the top 6 in both the East Conference and the West Conference, and the 6th and the 5th place teams have to play like games against the 3rd and the 4th. The top 2 go through automatically to the semis. But if you had two conferences with 8 teams and you could play it, it's just easier to do it, you know what I mean? It doesn't make sense. It's like some are having to play an extra game, extra 2 games.
They haven't expanded the way of doing things with the amount of teams that have come in.
And that's what I think they need to do.
Yeah, whether they just stick to their own divisions and then come in for the playoffs, like you'd find in other places.
Because you go out and play like 5 games for them, the East Conference as well, or you play all them teams once, but you'll play like 4 at home and 5 away or whatever. You know, and that might be fine. I just think the playoff places, though, should be stretched to 8 in both divisions, and then you've got a final 16 then for the playoffs, and you can have one leg or two, like just one leg will do, and down to the final. But that tournament is definitely going to be interesting.
Yeah.
And on the back of that, moving on to another thing we've got down, this is kind of what the Champions League are trying to do in August in Lisbon. Now, because obviously Champions League final was supposed to be in Istanbul, and the Europa League final was in Gdansk in Poland, and they're moving from Istanbul to Lisbon. Lisbon looks like it's going to be the favourite to do this. I mean,
because it's got two
big
stadiums, isn't it?
I mean, the thing with COVID and that, you know, Turkey's been far less affected than what Spain has and Portugal. I think it's definitely Spain, but they're looking to move it anyway to Lisbon, so they're going to have an 8-team knockout, all played behind closed doors at the two stadiums, one-off games up to the final. So they're going to try to create that little bit of a World Cup feel to it, of all the teams are in the one place. The only standout issue at the minute is there's still round of 16 games left. Like Man City haven't played
second leg
against Madrid, and what they're trying to say is they want to play those games in Lisbon as well and get them games played, just a one-off, obviously, because there's just one game left of them. There's 4 games, is there, I think, or something like that. That's outstanding, the second legs. Now, what's happening there is you're going to have teams like, I don't know whether City have objected, but there will be teams like Man City who'll turn around and go, well, hang on, we had to play in the Bernabeu. Why can't we play at the Etihad and play our second leg? Do you know what I mean? And it's whether people are going to be... I mean, already it's different because no fans are there.
Yeah.
So whether teams will stick to the guns and go, no, we want to play the second leg in our place, or we're not playing. Then whether UEFA say, well, if you don't play here, you forfeit it because this is where it is. I don't know. But that's the plan for that. The final is the 23rd of August, the Champions League final. That's what date they've penciled in. So that'll be interesting. And obviously the Europa League, it looks like it's moving to Germany. So it looks like Germany are going to stage that, doing a similar thing. But again, there, I think Wolves have still got a second leg to play in that. So again, it's those teams who haven't played those second legs. Are they going to play them in where the tournament is a couple of days earlier? Yeah. So that's going to be interesting. But what we could see is that World Cup type thing, because I know that they're looking to fill this summer with that kind of tournament. They've missed out on the Euros, and they're looking to fill it with that tournament, and UEFA get their chance here with the Europa League and the Champions League, which will, of course, fall in the off-season, won't it? Because we know, certainly for English clubs in the Premier League, we know that the Premier League looks like it's going to be back either 29th of August or 12th of September. They're the 2 dates. They haven't decided on it yet. The international break would have been in between, but they're not playing that, are they now? So, I mean, I don't know why it couldn't just be the 5th, but apparently the 2 dates are the 29th or the 12th of September, with our season finishing on the 26th of July. So if it's Man City, you ain't getting much of a break, are you? If you get to the final, you finish the Champions League final 23rd of August. If it's the 29th that you restart, you're starting a week later. You won't have had the break. Ideally for them, it'll
price of success, I'd say, isn't it? That's just the problem. I mean, what you can't just say to Man City, well, we're going to put off the league season for another 3 weeks.
No, because they could end up going out to Real Madrid in the first game, and then you've put it off. So it is the price of success, and it will. You know, maybe they will benefit then from the winter break that's in now, obviously, in this country.
Man City's case has been finalised, finished today, I believe, with the ban, and the result of that will be heard in the first half of July, apparently, as well. So that's done and dusted. Adam Conroy says, could MLS introduce relegation to add a bit more competition? As I have never understood that about MLS, the fact that there is no relegation. Well, the reason why there's no relegation, Adam, is because it's a paying league, essentially. People pay a lot of money to set up, franchise teams in it. And, if you're setting up a team that costs 30, 40, 50, 60, 70, 80 million just to buy in, and someone says to you, well, you could be relegated. it's where you'd be relegated to because there's no actual pyramids. The only way you could do it is if they had MLS 1 and MLS 2. And that would be the only way, and I don't really see them doing that either.
Then in MLS 2, you wouldn't be relegated, would you?
No, you wouldn't be relegated from it.
You'd
be trying to get back up, and then what would you be competing for? They've just got to come up with a better way of working all these teams.
I actually think it's fine. I think it's fine. I think
no, but where does it stop?
No. There's got to be. I think that the thing was to get 30 teams, wasn't it? That was Don Garber's thing, was to get 30 franchise teams. We've got obviously the likes of Cincinnati are in it now, and you've got recent teams
Austin's coming in, isn't it?
Austin, yeah.
Obviously Miami's in there now as well.
St. Louis, that in, or is that coming in?
It's coming in.
Miami's coming in. We've
had
in. Miami's in, rather. Yeah, we've had Atlanta coming in. So they've expanded it.
Yeah.
I think the two divisions, like I said, what I would
Memphis is still.
Memphis is one of the ones trying to come in. So what personally would certainly, like I say, just expand the playoff bit so it's very clear.
Yeah.
This is what we do. We do this. That's why, Adam, it's money. Beckham, look at the money Beckham's put, him and his company and all of his partners.
They've just built a stadium and it's not their stadium.
No.
It's a temporary stadium before the real stadium. Gary Ward says, we do have the US Open Cup tournament. That is our equivalent of the FA Cup. Yeah, fully aware of that, Gary. It's actually like the second oldest cup competition in the world, isn't it? I think after ours.
What's berserk about that is, though, they just play it like college, practice. You look at and there's like... it is a bit... They don't play at the stadiums.
But then that's not that too similar to our... In the early rounds of our FA Cup.
It seems home teams will still play. They don't play in their own stadium after time. In the early part, and then they do. It's a bit...
No, I know. I just think that, and Gary, you'll know more than anyone, being a sports fan, is could they just capture that sort of March madness, like getting the fan who isn't a regular fan to watch it? That's what I was saying. I don't mean in terms of like altering, just coming up with a format that it's like you're trying to get that fanning of someone who isn't either into football or someone who's like a Premier League fan, and you just want that month of like you can't be bothered following it all the way from March to December, and just having that month where you go, you know what, I'm going to pick that team.
I guess the best way to do it, they could do it, is to take up Disney's Worldwide of Sport every year.
That's what I'm saying.
Right, and do it for, like you say, a month, and have games at like 2, 5, now, like the World Cup.
Yeah.
I don't know how you'd do it fan-wise, but maybe you buy a ticket like for pre-season and you watch the 3 games for that day. So you're not thinking, but if you've done it like that, and then maybe set it up like a World Cup.
Don't you think, Gary Ward says Nashville are in the MLS now, yeah. Don't you think if the Premier League or La Liga or the Bundesliga could do that for a month, they would?
Oh, well, of course.
Exactly. Yeah. If you said to the Premier League, right, this year, every team is going to go to America for a month, or Asia, or whatever they want that market to be in, and you said to them, we are going to play a World Cup style tournament over a month, the Premier League would just go, yeah.
Of course they would, yeah.
Like, they would absolutely love that. So I just think it'll be very interesting to see what happens at the end of this tournament, and just to see if a few people in MLS go, that worked. That really worked. No, the TV ratings were really good, and it mightn't have anything to do with how the season finishes, and the playoffs might be the same. But if they can find a way of getting a month in the middle of the season when everyone's up to speed, or a month before, maybe it's all. Listen, they'd have to fit it around the calendar.
Their timings are weird, aren't they?
Because they've got like the Champions League and stuff. But I just.
But when it's MLS All-Star game, it breaks anyway.
No, I know, or even if they said...
No, but I'm saying, but what they could do is play that tournament and have the All-Star game bang in the middle of it all.
Or you could say, as well, just... And this could apply to any league, I suppose, but certainly for MLS. If you were to... Well, for MLS especially, for this, if you were to say, right, no, you're saying before, you only play teams against your teams in your... division. So East only play East and West only play West, and only time you'll meet is either in the playoffs or in this tournament, and you would wipe about 15 games off the schedule, and if you got rid of them and then you put this tournament in the middle, and it was like this, and Disney part funded it because all the people are coming to Disney for a month. Imagine like people going, I'm going on all. Like, imagine it was us, right? Yeah. And Everton every year went to Florida. We'd be like, just going to Florida for a couple of weeks to watch the Blues, and then it'd be like, oh, we've got through to the quarters. I'm gonna have to stay an extra week.
No, but it'd be a way to do it, wouldn't it? I mean, it'd
be amazing.
If you called it the Premier League Cup and took 20 teams for 3 weeks, you could do it, say, and just play every 3 days, and that'd be part of their pre-season.
Be amazing.
Then
I know it's probably never going to happen, but
but it'd be good.
But I mean, it would be amazing.
Like that, it'd be good. But you don't know.
No, you
because
don't.
What you don't know is when this tournament's played in Disney's wide world of sports.
Nice, mate.
Premier League are always looking for opportunities. If they look and go, well, hang on. Instead of us just trying to get Liverpool and Man United and Arsenal and then Real Madrid and all that, we can actually get a cup competition, Premier League cup competition going.
What if MLS said only the top 10 teams get into this tournament? This is just another thing. And the other 10 are filled with like Premier League teams and La Liga teams and German teams. And for them, they'd be like money making.
I like the Premier League Cup idea better, just so.
No, I know. I'm just saying, from an MLS point of view. Gary Ward says, we'll have to see how the Disney tournament goes. In theory, it's a good idea. Though I think for MLS, it's a great idea. It's a great idea
for the Premier League.
Oh, it is. It is. So, it's just find the time in the calendar.
No, it is. But then a pre-season one.
More Man City news.
Yeah. Pep's got his number 2 now. Obviously, Mikel Arteta left in December to become Arsenal manager. There was talk of like Van Bronckhorst, wasn't it, being the number 2? There was talk Van Bronckhorst was going to replace Guardiola. And then there was talk that, Pep, this was his last season, he was going to leave. But they've appointed Juan Manuel Lillo, I think you say his name, 54-year-old. Coached Guardiola actually at the end of his career for Dorados in Mexico. He's had 20 coaching jobs in his career. He's the youngest ever La Liga manager at the age of 29 when he managed Salamanca. And he's also managed Real Oviedo and Real Sociedad as well. He's been in Japan. He's managed Iniesta, I think it was. And so he's had a lot of experience. Guardiola really, really trusts him. And I guess that's the key thing, isn't it? If you're bringing a number 2 in. And I think the good thing is that he's older than Guardiola. And therefore, sometimes, I think when you've got that... This is what we spoke...
Wealth of experience.
We spoke the other day about Marco Bronze, as Andy likes to call him.
Marco Silva.
And his biggest thing was when he lost his trusted number 2, who had loads of experience, was older than him, he was doing very well at Famalicão, who beat Porto the other night as well. And looked like they might get into Europe. He went off there to manage them in the summer, and Silva went and brought in Liverpool Morty. He didn't have any real experience. Whereas what Guardiola's done, he's gone from having Arteta, who didn't have that experience, but he was working with them, and obviously they've got Brian Kidd and they've got other people around them. He's gone and got someone who's got loads of experience, and when you see that all or nothing doc, and he has that fella who's a water polo player who's his mate, he just goes, you're a knobhead then, and things like that. But he'll have that with this fella, but this fella's also a football man, so we'll have a couple of people to bounce off, and he will challenge him. But Guardiola said he's fantastic, and I learned so much off him as a manager.
Yeah, something a bit different, isn't it? You've got to, it's like we've seen it with Sir Alex Ferguson. He was always changing up his coaches every 3 years, keeping it fresh, keeping the players on their toes, not getting too familiar with with everything, and making it different. And maybe that's what Pep's recognised, is that hasn't been a great season for them in the Premier League, in terms of, they're obviously not going to win the league. So maybe it's time to go from one extreme, a young up and coming assistant manager, to someone with a bit more experience.
But you might have a fella now who, because City are sloppy in games, and they do overplay and things, and this fella might just come in and go, you know what, let's just tighten up a little bit, let's do this a little bit, and he might actually, and probably will, because he's been a manager and seen it and done it, he might actually challenge Pep a little. I'm not saying Arteta didn't, but it's a bit different. Arteta was the student and Guardiola was the teacher, where this fella's, it's almost role reversed a little bit. Although Guardiola's incredible and brilliant manager, he might have someone who actually goes, doing that wrong. And I guess people like might be good for people like John Stones, who maybe lost their way a little bit. If he
experience, isn't it? Joshua says, in terms of that tournament, it sounds similar to the GAA All-Ireland format. He says that he says Ulster, Leinster, Munster narrowed down obviously once teams are knocked out. So it's very similar to what they do.
It's going to be interesting. It's an interesting. It's certainly an interesting thing, and it's going to, an interesting cup competition. It's going to be interesting to see how it plays out, and I think a few lights will go off in people's heads when they see it and go, "Yeah, we could do that."
Well, we spoke about this before, because obviously they have the International Champions Cup, which we were involved in a few years ago, weren't we? And there's been talk about that because the people who run it saying that they're not making any money because the clubs are not bringing the top players over. He said he wants he's had meetings with UEFA and FIFA apparently to make it a real designated tournament, so teams have to bring over full squads. And I don't know, maybe that plays into it. I don't know. Football is always trying to, obviously they're always looking for angles to make money. We know that the ultimate goal is to have a Super League. That's the ultimate goal, we know that. But things like this fall in line, and as I said, you're always trying to stimulate the viewer as well, the television viewer, and always trying to come up with new concepts, so it's not just the same beginning of the season, end of the season. So we'll wait and see.